Welcome to Toast on Rise Example Zone, where the goal of today's video is going to be subnets for applied energistics 2 and why they're cool and why they help organize something like a mob farm, which can get very messy and have a lot of junk items that you do not want, and it handles them in such a way where it doesn't flood your main applied energistics network. So subnets, they're really cool. And I built this little mob farm here to demonstrate how to manage items because I wanted to have a surplus of just junk. And it was such a cool little build. I had fun building in this version of Minecraft 1.16.5. I'm used to playing 1.12, and this is not using cursed earth anymore. It's using mechanical dirt. But I had fun building this thing, and it actually works really well. So I would like to demonstrate it later. So I need to focus here. Real quick, version of Minecraft, I'm playing the FTB Endeavour pack, and these are the mods that I've used, just in case someone's curious. And computer craft tweaked is not necessary, it's just for the scoreboard. And I'm just realizing I forgot to add storage drawers to that list, because I added those just a little later. So, real quick, this is going to be the subnet system that I'm designing. It's going to be the green network. And real quick, I want to show off my quote-unquote main network. It would be like the main part of my base, my control center. This controller is absolutely overkill. You can ignore it. I'm just kind of, I don't know, having fun. But let's pretend this is my main control system. These are all my items. I've got a storage bus interfacing with this chest that lets me see those gold chests. I've got an ME chest with a 4K storage cell, and that lets me see whatever items I have in there. And then I also have a storage bus going onto the back of this storage drawer. And I can right click to unlock it, right click to lock it, and that way AE2 will not just push items willy-nilly into these drawers because they are locked. But yeah, this is we're going to call this my early game storage. And I don't want to have these mob drops just getting dumped into this and filling up all the stuff and making a mess. And I don't necessarily want a huge wall of drawers. So enter subnet and why it's cool. And I'll real quickly show you that this is its own little network. Right now, it's not even tied together. It's actually got its own power source, the energy acceptor. And there's no flashing ME controller on this network. It can sustain 8 channels on it without having one of those. One of these gives you the benefit of 32 channels. I'm going to assume you know of channels in Applied Energistics 2. Otherwise, this video kind of just jumps ahead, ignoring a lot of the basics. But yeah, without a controller, you can have 8 channels. So right now, I'm actually using 1, 2, 3, and I believe that is it. Oh, and 4. You know what? Where is a smart cable? Is it green or is it lime? What color is this? Okay, so if we just get rid of that and do that, that's now telling me, yes, I'm using 4 channels in the tooltip. And if I was to add more devices, like 1, 2, 3, 4, you will see that I'm using 8 of 8 channels. And if I was to turn this on, this actually uses a channel 2, but it's offline because the toggle bus is offline. If I was to turn that on, it might go online, but it's still missing a channel because I've got too many devices. And the whole network actually dies when I flip this on. But if I break one of these, I'm back to 8. Turn that off because it's throwing away my items on me. So yeah, I thought I would just throw that out there. Small little network can use 8 channels. So I'm going to get rid of this because that was just for demonstration purposes. This thing should run out of energy soon. And it just did, so it's dead. So I want to connect these things together. And to do that, I'm going to get a cable, and I want a Fluix, just a basic one, and green. Where's green? Right there. And I also want a storage bus and a interface and a piece of quartz fiber right there. So right now this network is dead and this network is alive. What I can do is throw a storage bus here. And note this storage bus is the same item I'm using to talk to this chest and to talk to this storage drawer controller. It's basically looking at an inventory. It lets you see into whatever that inventory is. And so I'm actually going to use this to look at this whole network as basically its own inventory. It's like one big chest or something. And by throwing a storage bus there and then throwing an interface on there, my understanding is it can read everything on that network and it like isolates it. So if I do this, you'll see it still doesn't light up. I still have 0 of 8 channels. Because what this setup basically does is it's supposed to let this thing see over there, and it only passes data through. And on this network right here, we have energy and data. The data is in the form of all these chests, and the energy is coming from this creative mechanism cell. This is energy acceptor, and there's energy in this network. But we're only trying to get data through here, and so it's not going to work. It actually needs energy too. But you can't just tie them together because then it becomes one network. You have to keep them isolated. So what you can do is quartz fiber only allows energy through, no data. So this is actually going to power this up now. And see, now we're using 5 of 8 channels. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is this importer, importing items from the mob crusher. So everything's happy. And now if I look at this, you will see, I can see these pearls and these arrows that are actually the same items that are right there. So that's cool. We now could have this thing, you know, many blocks away or many levels down or up in our base. This could be way across the map. And we wouldn't have to deal with it. We wouldn't have to listen to it because typically these things are kind of noisy too. And you've got access to all your items. And this works for anything. You could actually have a mystical agriculture set up with seeds and farming, pumping all of this essence into a subnet, and then only kind of interface with it to create actual items out of this essence. And this way, the essence doesn't fill up your main network. It kind of just stays off, and it's only going to fill up until it runs out of room. And ignoring these for now, these storage drawers, let's just look at these drives. If I was to take just a nice small 4K storage cell, through the power of editing, I am back. So gunpowder, let's say that is another item that I want to store. And you know what? Essence, why not? That seems like that would be good for getting into mystical agriculture. If I grab another one of those. So if I throw my 4K storage cell into the cell workbench, I've got gunpowder on this one. Great. If I throw this one in, I got essence. Now you can actually add multiple different types of items to allow them to get stored into here, because you're basically partitioning the hard drive to only take these items. If you accumulate more essence or faster, if you accumulate essence at a faster rate than gunpowder, you might not have much gunpowder. This thing could get totally full of essence. So I only like to put one type of item in each storage cell when I partition them. So if I pop these in there like that, we will see that they're going to start filling up. And I could throw acceleration upgrades in here to make it faster, but the point of this video is fine. It's working. So essence is also going to pop in there once the gunpowder gets imported in. And you can see it's moving. So that's good. We've now got these items, and we're not overloading the main network. It's its own little isolated thing. So now what I can actually do is I can say, hey, actually I'm going to take this, for example, or no, what am I going to do? I'll show something else first. I'm losing track here. What I also could do is I could actually hook up this other storage drawer network to this thing to say, hey, I want to actually store some of these items in bulk. I don't want to just fill up a storage drive. I don't know why you do that. I think these actually perform better. I don't know what the performance is for these. I've just heard you don't want to have huge walls of them because I think they're possibly a source of lag. So if I was to connect this right now, it would just start dumping items into here. First come, first serve. So what I actually want to do is lock it so nothing can go in there. Note how they're all locked. And now when I connect these things, you'll see I'm using 5 channels. Now that's online. I am using 6 channels. So that's good. 6 is less than 8. Last time I checked. So, same thing. I decided I want to store redstone. If I throw it there, it's actually going to compress the redstone automatically for me. And same with glowstone can be compressed. And let's just say I want to store rotten meat in bulk. I could throw this in there and glowstone right there. And you'll see that they are filling up now. And just demonstration purposes, if I forgot to lock my drawer, you'd see it just throws in whatever, which is not what we want. But let's decide, or let's just say for sake argument, this is now configured. My subnet is great. I'm happy with what I'm storing. The rest of it can get voided. What I actually could do too, priority. If I was to set my priority on this formation plane as -1, it's first going to try to stick items in certain drawers. These both have priority of 1,000. That's -1. And this is 0, which is fine by me. That way, it's going to guarantee it doesn't throw out something that I've configured. This is the last place it's going to try to stick an item. And same if one of these fills. If one of these things fills up, it's just going to dump it. So it's a good system for inventory management. And stuff gets destroyed, so it's not like it's accumulating items in here getting laggy. Besides these mob heads, I think that's a glitch. The crusher doesn't actually pick up the mob head, or when it kills them, they're up high and the items drop and it doesn't collect them. That's a separate issue that's kind of weird to this pack or this version of Minecraft. So ignore that. That's one small issue. But I think that is it. That is, you can see, I can see all these items. If I actually pull this redstone out, you'll see that it is now empty. Shift right click, nothing's in there. And if I throw it back in this network, it's smart enough to stick it back in the storage drawer. It's not going to pick, whoops, this chest or this chest or even this chest. But that's where priorities come in. If I was to set this priority higher, because that's at 500, what's this priority at? 0. Interesting. Oh yeah. There's no redstone here. If there was redstone here, it would have stuck the item in there. So you do have to be somewhat careful, but if you have this at a high enough priority, I don't know, 1,000, it's definitely going to always want to put these items back in the right spot. And see this gold chest, for instance? There's nowhere else for it to go. So it's going to go straight back in. And I actually think it's going to go in here because the priority of this is 0 and the priority of this is 0. So if I made that 1, it will have a preference to fill up there. I don't know why you'd fill that up. That's just kind of a demonstration. This little chest on the storage bus, just to say that this interfacing with this inventory is the exact same basically as this storage bus interfacing with this. It's just a big chest. At least in my mind anyway. I think I'll make a part 2 for that because I think it's pretty cool.